global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news.
Hello, great people. Welcome back to our channel. We're so excited to have you again. It was hot yesterday in the camp of the Agbadorians, talking about Bola Tinubu supporter, considering what the former governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, said about Bola Tinubu as he painted a picture that most Nigerians did not know, though David Hundayin has been talking about it. Now, Lamido, before I give you full details of what the reply presidency has sent across to Lamido, let me just give you an answer to what Lamido said. He alleged that President Tinubu was among those who supported the annulment of June 12, 1993 presidential election. He also alleged that Tinubu's mother, Hajia Mogaji, organized market women from Lagos to come to Abuja and show support for the then head of state, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida. He even said we should go and ask Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida that he's still alive. He now said that the issue of Tinubu becoming who he claims he is right now was when General Sani Abacha came on board. That was when he started fighting with the National Democratic Coalition, talking about NADECO. But then, let's also look at the full details of what President Bola Tinubu has rolled out as response to the statement or to the interview that was granted Sule Lamido. And this time around, it came via the office of Bayo Ananoga, who is the special advisor to President Tinubu on information and strategy. And he accused Lamido of attempting to distort history with his claims. According to him, he says that attention of the presidency has been drawn to recent comment made by Alhaji Sule Lamido, former governor of Jigawa State, on live television, in which he falsely accused President Bola Tinubu of supporting the annulment of the June 12, 1993 presidential election. Alhaji Lamido claim represent a distortion of history and a regrettable attempt at visionism. He alleged that President Tinubu only rose to prominence after the formation of NADECO and claimed that Tinubu's mother, Haji Abibatu Mogaji, mobilized market women to back the annulment. These allegations are patently false. Let us set the record straight. Haji Mogaji never mobilized market women to support the unjust annulment. Had she done so, she would have lost her position as market leader in Lagos, while she once had a personal relationship with the then President Babangida. This was before the annulment crisis. Ananoga claimed it was the former Jigawa State governor and his Social Democratic Party, SDP, that teamed up with other anti-democratic forces to deny MKO Abiola his victory in the 1993 election. In his words, he says, "It is important to remind Nigerians that Alhaji Lamido, as secretary of the Social Democratic Party, SDP, the party whose candidate MKO Abiola won the June 12 election, was among those who failed to oppose the military injustice. The SDP leadership, including Lamido and Chairman Tony Anani, wrote their names in the book of infamy by surrendering the people's mandate without resistance. To their eternal shame, Lamido and Anani teamed up with the defeated National Republican Convention to deny Abiola his mandate. In a sharp contrast, Senator Bola Tinubu stood firm even before General Abacha dissolved the political parties and all democratic institutions, including the National Assembly, on November 17, 1993, following his coup. The president media went ahead to identify some of the roles played by Tinubu in supporting the 1993 election, including speaking publicly against those who annulled the election. According to him, Onanuga says, days after General Babangida addressed the Senate and announced his decision to step aside on August 27, 1993, the setting up of an interim government to replace him, senators debated the speech on the Senate floor on August 19, 1993. Tinubu unequivocally condemned the annulment, describing it as another coup d'etat, and urged Nigerians to reject injustice and lawlessness. The record captured his contribution, showing that he supported upholding the June 12 election, not against it, as Lamido claimed. We have a situation that suggests that the abortion of the June 12 election is another coup d'etat. Senator Tinubu said, "My question is, when are we going to stop tolerating injustice, coup d'etat, and abuse by the people on whom we invested so much resources, the public fund of this country?" Yes, it's true that we have a crisis, but for every action, there must be a reaction. This is a self-inflicted crisis because without abortion or annulment of the June 12 election, there would be no crisis like this. We have a government that makes the law and abuses its law. Therefore, the present military administration, by virtue of abrogation and violation of its own decree, has committed a crime, the senator from Lagos West told his colleagues. The election winner, Abiola, was out of the country when legislators debated Babangida's offer to step aside for an interim government. He returned in September 1993 and who followed him to Abacha's military group, then openly planning a coup against the Ene-Shunekon-led NIG. It was Tinubu. Photograph exists today showing Tinubu behind Abiola and Abacha. Abacha took over on November 17, 1993 and dissolved all democratic institutions, including governors, the National Assembly, and the state legislature. Tinubu and a group of senators reconvened in Lagos, defying the junta. Tinubu, Ahmed Ebute, Abu Ibrahim, and others were arrested and kept at Alagbon. The police took them to court and fabricated a case against them. While in police detention, Tinubu continued to fund pro-June 12 protests in Lagos, including the blockade of the Third Mainland Bridge. Weeks after Abacha supplanted the ING, it quickly became clear to Abiola and Tinubu that Abacha would not be a soldier of democracy as he reneged on allowing Abiola to reclaim his mandate. Enter the National Democratic Coalition, NADECO. It was born on May 15, 1994, comprising a broad coalition of Nigerian Democrats. It called on the military government of Sani Abacha to step down in favor of the winner of the June 12, 1993 election, MKO Abiola. On the first anniversary of his election, Abiola made a declaration at Ekpetedo in Lagos, announcing himself as the duly elected president. 10 days after, on June 22nd, he was arrested, following which many pro-democracy activists also escaped from Nigeria, including Lamido Tinubu. Tinubu lived in exile for nearly 5 years while Lamido and his ilk made deal with Abacha. While Tinubu was away, agents of the junta bombed his home in Balarabe, Musa Crescent, Victoria Island. Thankfully, Lamido admitted that Tinubu played a significant role in NADECO. Indeed, Tinubu did more. He also backed Professor Wole Soyinka Nalikon, offering material resources to fuel the struggle. It is well known that Tinubu played a leading role in the agitation against the June 12 annulment. Many NADECO leaders and journalists in exile and at home openly admitted that Tinubu sustained them and provided them with funds for the struggle. Onanuga added that Lamido is only attempting to rewrite history in favor of the opposition coalition targeted at unseating President Tinubu in 2027 election. He added that the former governor is part of the disgruntled politician envious of the political credential of President Tinubu. In his words, he says, with his narrative, Lamido appeared confused about the role of NADECO. It was an offshoot of the June 12 crisis. NADECO provided a platform to channel the struggle. Hitherto, all the resistance was left to civil rights groups, journalists, and a section of labor such as Nuping. It is thus disappointing that Alhaji Lamido, despite acknowledging Tinubu's NADECO's role, would attempt to rewrite history for political reasons and being a member of the coalition of the disgruntled. We advise Lamido to check his facts before going on television to spread falsehood. It does not help his image and the coalition he belongs to. Revisionism does not save the cause of truth or our nation. We do not want to believe that Alhaji Lamido suffered from what psychologists call tall poppy syndrome. However, the conclusion is inevitable as it appears that Lamido is envious of Tinubu's democratic credential. The fact remains, dear President Tinubu was and remained a steadfast advocate for democracy in contrast to the record of Lamido and others who capitulated in the face of military oppression and intimidation. That was the point the presidency made in response to the fuel that Lamido poured on Dagbado's camp yesterday. Let's be in the comment section and talk more on this. Thank you very much.